Yo, what's up? This is Randy. Thanks for checking back with me. I wanted to start out by saying that I made a teaser. I don't know if that's what you call it, but it's basically like a tone poem about the film and kind of like just teasing what's going on with it. And if you stick around till the end, it's going to be playing at the end of this. So stick around, listen to this, whatever kind of jibber jabber I'm up to, and then check that out and let me know what you think. Kind of showing that around so people understand the tone of the film when they read the script. Just to give you an update on what's been going on with me, basically, I've been continuing to shake all the trees and kind of see what's been coming out. I've been doing endless amounts of meetings, primarily to meet a producer. It's really interesting and weird. Trying to find a producer is a little bit like dating. It's about like a numbers game. It's about meeting as many people as I possibly can and talking to them. You know, people have all different levels of specificity when it comes to what they're good at and what they've done before. Some people with a tremendous amount of experience that could be dicks, and some with very few films under their belt that can be amazing or dicks. But ultimately, you know, the game with finding a producer, and I'm in the middle of the game, is really just kind of like, you know, just talking to all these people and kind of just getting a vibe, catching a vibe with them, trying to understand what movies they like, what they're good at, what they've done in the past, what their outlook is on not only the film industry but life, frankly. You know, it's a really interesting thought to think about, like what the producer-director relationship is like. Famed producer Ted Hope has been doing a lot of posts on this recently, which I've been kind of meticulously following on his Substack. And, you know, I think it's really important to make things really clear. I'm a married man, so I think it's really important now more than ever when I'm entering or planning on entering a relationship like this that potentially has monstrous implications, success, failure, you know, who knows how long the relationship can last, hopefully for a long time, that, you know, you kind of set off on the right foot and you like make the right decisions. What does this person believe? Do they have faith in you? Have they done this kind of thing before? Especially because I'm in a really interesting and unique position in that I'm an experienced director. I've just never directed a feature before. So that's kind of what I've been in the middle of. I find it like tons of fun. I love dealing with people, so kind of talking to different producers has been a blast. I've been also kind of really busy reading a lot of people's Substacks, frankly, and just kind of continuing my education. It's really just kind of like everything that I'm doing at this point. To go back to the producers thing for 1 second, I'm basically looking for two things in a producer. I'm looking for somebody that has connections with talent, bankable talent preferably, and also somebody that really is very knowledgeable about sales agents, has really good relationships with sales agents, and understands kind of like the film as a product in terms of like where it's going to go. Because I have a lot of experience with production, I'm not as worried about the idea of getting the movie actually made. You know, I mean, like, separately, I've been looking into special effects houses. I've been looking into monster and creature creation. I've been looking into tax credits and potential locations for that kind of stuff. And, you know, I mean, I've produced a lot also. So the actual making of the movie on that front, the nuts and bolts of making the movie, are not really as much of a concern to me as it is the things that are outside of my control, which is talent and then the sale of the movie itself. And those two things are really important when it comes to getting a movie made, because your financing is really based on those two things, on getting the movie sold and on the talent that's in it, which kind of brings me to something else that I've been kind of like learning about, which is the film financing part of it. I had an amazing meeting with a friend of a friend whose name is Mike Hansen, who spent years and years in the film finance world, and he's connected me to a lot of great people. And basically what I've learned is that there's two ways that films get financed. It's kind of funny to hear me talk about like this, even to myself, because, you know, at my age, to like go into a new business and try to figure out how it works is really kind of interesting and unique and different. But like, I'm kind of taking it, my beginnerness, as a benefit, as something that's beneficial rather than a hindrance, because I can learn kind of where the movie industry is now and not where it was, where it's going to be. That's exciting to me. And hopefully be a part of making the film industry for the future, which I like that also. Anyway, so there's two types of financing. There's debt financing and there's equity financing. Equity is kind of easier. It's like, Great Aunt Birgit dies and leaves you a chunk of cash, and you can use that cash to make your movie. That's equity financing. It's also friends and family financing, or using some kind of web portal, like Raise Money, something like that. That's equity, where you basically have the money, you make the movie, end of story. Then there's debt financing, and that's a little bit more tricky and complicated and kind of like nuanced in terms of how that all works. But basically, a film finance company will give you the money, but they just won't give it to you based on, how brilliant your idea is or anything like that. Those finance people are not in it for the prospecting part of it. That's kind of more the equity side. The debt side, they will give you that money, but only based on what kind of stars you have attached. And also what kind of tax incentive you're going for based on where you're shooting. And also pre-sales, which are all like three parts of the same kind of pie that all kind of really are based on a bunch of different criteria. But that's how you get them made. And that's like a super important part of this whole thing. These movies do not get made without that. And it's a huge chunk of cash to make a movie, even on the cheap side. Even if you were making a movie for $250,000, which I can't make my movie for that little, I don't think. It's still a lot of money. And to take that amount of money and to plunk it into a film without understanding from your producer where that can sell, what the market is like, what the market will bear for something like that is kind of stupid. Unfortunately, stupid is very common in the film industry from what I'm hearing and what I gather, because there's a lot of people that go into it because they're like, hey, I wrote this film and I love it and it's my story and I'm super into it, and they like raise a bunch of money from people and they go into it with this ignorance that it's just like, they're blinded by their creative excitement. And while I love that, in that, like, I love to be blinded by my creative excitement, I'm not trying to do that with my film career. If I wanted to do that, I'd just make a short project, something I could shoot like, with favors and a small camera, like I did with my recent film, Crawl Space. But I'm not interested in doing that with my feature career. With my feature career, I want to make a future. I want to make more films. I want to make money. And I know that there's a lot of smack talking in this industry about how difficult that can be and all this other stuff. But I'm going to kind of like, I don't want to say maintain willing ignorance of that. I want to say I want to make strategic, smart decisions in order to negate the kind of thoughts about that kind of stuff. Or not the thoughts, but the reality of that stuff when it comes to me. Is it possible to do that? I would say yes. Is it impossible to avoid some of the difficulties in the industry? I mean, I think ultimately, the laws of business preside. It's like, if I make my film based on what a genre picture, and my picture is a genre picture, a sci-fi creature feature or genre picture can sell for, regardless of how it is executed, that's independent of execution, then I'll be in a good place. And then hopefully I'll be able to make something that is better than what that low expectation is. And then I can be totally doing great, at least that's kind of like how I'm imagining it. I'm imagining that I'm going to make it. I mean, I'm not as worried about the execution of it right now because I've spent so much time making audiovisual art, products, commercials, and things like that, I have faith in what it is that I can do. So now the question really is just how much money is reasonable to spend so that I can do that. I can make a movie and still expect to have some kind of a sale, even regardless of the execution of it. So maybe I have my head up my ass and it's totally unreasonable, but I don't think so. So that's kind of like what I've been doing. I've also been spending a lot of time, because I've produced a lot on the short form side. commercials and music videos and all kinds of other things. Like, I'm just really not stopping and waiting for a producer. I mean, I've been doing those meetings also, but I've been spending a lot of time talking to people. There's a budget that's being made right now, which is exciting to kind of like see what the range is that I can get away with, and kind of how I would have to do it at the low end, and what kind of latitude there would be on the high end. I've also been spending a lot of time doing like previs type stuff. I downloaded this amazing app on the iPad called Previs Pro, and it really allows you to like put characters into a scene and then put a background in, and really kind of like work on the shot list. I've also been doing tons of rewrites. I don't think there's any time that, to me, the script is going to be done. I think with every piece, the script is going to change. The script is going to change based on the different characters that are there, who I wind up using, who gets cast, the locations, every single aspect of it. So I'm going to continue to work on it now, continue to strengthen the character development, make sure it's not, I'm being kind of like as it just could be the best product it can be. That sounds shitty, calling it a product, but I mean, that's part of what it is, what I mean? I kind of compartmentalize the art and the commerce of the film industry, because there is that element to it. So if I were just to be like, no, it's just this, then I feel like I'd be kind of shooting myself in the foot. And I hope to get to a point where I don't have to worry about that. I mean, the top directors, Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan, those guys don't have to care about the budget. They do what they do. They command huge box office receipts. So, they don't care. We shoot on 70 millimeter. They want to shoot for 6 months, all kinds of special effects, everything they want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. Another cool thing that I've been kind of really going into right now is, because my movie has a creature in it, I've been really looking into that whole creature aspect of it and trying to figure out, like, how do I want to do this? How do I want to execute this so that it can be to my liking? Creatures, everybody in film school learns about the whole Jaws idea and sparing, seeing the creature. I have thoughts about that. I have thoughts about that stuff, which I can go into kind of at a later date. But, I want to make sure that the creatures can be really good. So I've basically been kind of like, I have some meeting, actually one tomorrow, with a creature house, and kind of where they like make molds and stuff like that, which I think probably would work really well for the close-ups. So that's kind of where I'm at. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Everything's been good, man. I mean, like, I feel like I'm like running with the football super hard. I'm like stiff arming the negative energy, keeping super positive manifestation, focus, mindset on getting this thing made. I think honestly, like, another thing that I would probably want to do ASAP is actually put the shoot on the calendar. I think that would really help out in terms of like, the forward lean of getting this thing made. So that's kind of where I'm at. Today is March 26th, 2025. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I hope people, kind of tune in and see this. I think now it's like super early stages. So this is going to be continuing on until we get to the actual shoot, and then we'll do, behind the scenes there too. This will happen. I'm going to make this happen. So in the meantime, check out this little teaser, like tone poem that I made for the film. And I hope to see you back here soon.